Now, I drove by, and the door was open, and the blinds were open, but I saw some West Campus ambassadors where I stop. So, if they're closed, I'm going to assume they warned them. We'll see. No, I think their door's still open. So that's good to know. At least they're not, oh, hey, there's protesters coming. Look out. Kind of thing. So, and sorry to my regulars that I'm vertical again. We need to get some new eyeballs on what's going on. And since I haven't been coming 3 times a week, I thought the best way to do that is to go vertical today. So, if you don't know the hack, how to watch me horizontal, let me know and I'll give you the link. So, they're open. What should I get them? Delphi Academy. Let's get them with that. Google, if you go on Google and look up the Delphi Academy lawsuit, you'll find out that they protected a child predator in their school and now they're being sued for it. And the predator is in prison. That's fast. Let's see. See if they can do it fast. Nope. Slow. Oh, come on. You're blind tech. You're failing. You're failing. Oh, your blind tech needs some work there, guys. Slow. They've been slow. Why is it they have less people available to close blinds? I wonder. They're way over. See, they're coming over here where I'm at. But I guarantee you they didn't do. What are they hiding anyway? Because all that's here is their propaganda, their books, their movies. So explain to me why they close their blinds. I don't understand. Well, okay. The only thing I can think, other than they're hiding all kinds of crap, okay, I'm turning, is they just don't want some of their members on our cameras. But during the day, it's super hard to see through the windows. So I don't understand why they have to close their blinds when I'm here, because what are they hiding? I think I heard somebody, it was Scooter Mom, because she was showing a clip of mine about their blind tech and saying exactly what we all say. Why do they have to hide? Why are they hiding? All right, I'm going to set up out front. But when it gets closer to class change, let's see, what time is it? Oh my goodness, I got 30 people, y'all. All right, I got to get set up, and then I'll explain to anyone new why I'm here. I am protesting the Church of Scientology. They call themselves a church, but they don't have a belief system. They don't have a deity. It's all about these classes you take, and it's all about making money. There are other countries that won't give them church status because they have a list of prices for their services. And do you know, I messed up today. Normally I have my tripod ready to go, and I forgot. So I'm going to be shaking, so look away while I get that. You can see me here in the reflection while I get this silly thing open. So what it is I have to come up on them gorilla style. Because as soon as they see me, they close their doors and they close their blinds. How many churches do you know that want to close? I'm trying to figure out how to do this. This is fun. You can see me fumbling in the reflection. So normally I have this already out. And I can just get it set up quickly. But I screwed up today. What I did do, I think maybe that's why. Because normally I don't even set up my live stream until I'm ready to go. But today I did it in the car. I'm shaking. I'll let you know when I'm done. Don't look. Which one of these isn't out all the way? One of these isn't out all the way. Hold on. This one a little bit. Must be this one. Yep, there it is. Alright, one more leg. Almost there. So, and sorry to you regulars that I'm vertical, but since I haven't been making it, the weather has been so weird. I haven't been making it 3 days a week. So I thought, well, I need to get more eyeballs on what's going on. So that's why I've done vertical more often. Alright, there we go. Are we ready? We are almost ready. This one's not down all the way. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm sorry. I get sick when things shake around. Alright, I think we're almost there. Oh, let's see. And we are in. Alright, we're good. Alright. Okay, those of you that were looking away, we're stable now. Almost. Oh crap, my phone just popped out. Let me fix that. That's the only thing about the clip on this thing is not deep. Alright. Let's check who's in the chat. Let's see. All messages. Alrighty. Irish Mart. Hey, what's up? Irish Mart, I just commented to one of your comments. It's 2 months old. I don't know why I didn't see it. Hey, Scooter Mom. I was watching your show on the way in. I got 3/4 of the way through. Hey, Casey. I know. The org is hiding all the nothingness. Yeah, that's true. They think they're hiding something, but not really. Let's see. Everybody just saying it was. Oh, you're fine. That's the thing about this community is we don't watch it for perfection. That's why at first when I started, I was like, oh, I'm not good at this. Nah, I don't care anymore. Because you know why? Because I don't care when other people are like that. It doesn't bother me a bit. So I'm hoping y'all feel the same. Gotta get my water out today, y'all. Alright, so I'm in my little, what do you call it? Let's see, this way. My little fort with the trees and my wagon. Alrighty, so hey, Ontario. We've got Toronto and Ontario. Now, is Ontario, is that a city or is that like a territory? I'm not sure what you guys call them up there. But yeah, it's really cool. You're doing a good job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. My pleasure. Province. Got it. Province. Okay. So you have provinces and then you have cities. Got it. Hamilton. Okay. Well, good to see you, Ruth. Are you new? So if anybody in here is new, I will give you my spiel about why I'm here. So, 2 years ago, I knew nothing about Scientology. I was just at home, and it popped into my feed one day, one of the creators that's in this community. And he was an ex-Scientologist. And I heard his story. And then he turned me on to other ex-members. I call them survivors, because that's what it is. And I did a deep dive for a couple of months. Okay, so you know. And when I found out about the abuses in Scientology and these survivor stories, it broke my heart, because almost all of them started when they were children. And the abuse that goes on in Scientology of children, the thing is, there are probably people in this org that don't know that it's that bad in other places, because it's all covered up and they're not allowed to question anything or talk to each other. So a year ago, when I found out this org was opening, even though I live 75 miles away, I was like, I can't let this happen because we're directly across from the University of Texas. And when I say directly across, I mean right here. All this whole side of the street. This is the right here is the main entrance to the University of Texas. And originally my channel was called Scientology Won't Win, because my thought was they're not going to win our young people. They're not going to get their claws in our young people. So that's why I come down here. It's more to educate the students that are here that not to be lured in. And there's been a couple times I've walked up on Fridays and they've had a table open and they were talking to a freshman who was probably first time away from home, and and one of them I said, why do you think they're here? And he said, oh, because they want to be part of the community and blah, you know, whatever they told him, whatever BS they told him. And I started laying down facts. I was like, nope, if you don't have $150,000 to go up the bridge, then they're going to make you slave labor. And then I started in on the child abuse, then I got into the elder abuse. By then, he was fast walking away. So, oh, I got a big group coming, y'all. I gotta get loud.
Oh my God.
Oh my, lots and lots of people. Yep. They won't let their members leave. The Sea Org has to sign a billion-year contract, and they literally have to escape in the trunk of a car to get away from Scientology. They're not allowed on the internet. They're not allowed to look at anything that's anti-Scientology. And if you're in their slave labor force, you're not allowed to have babies. They will take you to the clinic to get rid of it. They are family destroying.
Hey, you're not wrong. They're like very scary. They try to recruit you or something.
Yeah, they will. And they'll love bomb you at first. Then once you're in, they want all your money, or they want you to be their slave labor that only makes $50 a week. Yep.
Like, you can't get out.
Nope. We've had people escape in trunks of cars, be drugged back from bus stations trying to escape.
Fight the power.
Yep. Thank you. I should have turned it around. Because as they were walking by me, I was getting them. Yes! That was a whole group. I don't know who they were. Hey, what's up, Anak? What's up? Good that you're here. So, if anybody wants to watch me horizontal, if you go to sptv.space, you can, at the top, it shows any of our channels that are doing the same thing as me that are live. And I'll be in that live, and you click on that, and you can watch me horizontal. Hey, Brandon. Yeah, I was saying earlier that I did a deep dive for a long time. And when I forget, like, I have short-term memory loss. I forget names and dates and stuff. But when I deep dive something, and I can remember that crap till the end of my days. And that's just what I do. I just teach them whatever I've learned from survivors of this cult. And the problem is, we're trying to get the government to look at these people. They gave them, they took their tax-exempt church status away once in the late 70s because they were being hinky with the money. But then the first leader died. A new leader took over who wasn't supposed to. He pulled a coup. And in 96, he sued the IRS to death. 2,200 lawsuits, including against individual agents. So they gave them their tax-exempt status back just to make them go away. And they put protections in there too. So now it's harder to go after them than anyone else. The only way we can get to them is through the DOJ with criminal charges, which everything they do is criminal. They do bank fraud, it's child abuse, it's human trafficking. We realize now, because the English-speaking countries know their deal for the most part because of social media. They lived in secrecy for 50 years and then social media popped up, or the internet. So now they're bringing in Russians, Ukrainians, and non-Latinos, all non-English speaking countries, and they're like, oh, you can be a religious volunteer and come to the U.S., we'll help you get your visa. Then they get here and they take their passport away. And they can't speak English, so they get them here. That's called human trafficking. They human traffic from non-English speaking countries, and then they take their passports away. A group went by. And so then they're afraid to go to the authorities because they're afraid they'll get deported or whatever. You know, they fearmonger their people too. Sorry guys, my eyes. Hang on just a second. Okay, that's better. I need to bring that bio team with me. Manipulation, coercion, and corruption. Yeah. Are you new to the, Brandon and Anak, are you guys new to the Scientology movement? The anti-Scientology movement? Because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to educate. I'm here to let them know that if you don't have $150,000 to give to them, then they make you be in their slave labor force that work 100 hours a week and make $50 a week. And if they don't make money, they don't get paid, and they eat beans and rice. And if you can get married in the Sea Org, but if you get pregnant, they will bus you to the clinic to get rid of it. You're not allowed to have kids. This is a family-destroying cult. They do not care about families. This is awesome. I'm getting a lot of traffic. I came too late last time. I need to stick with class time. I get so many more people. So that's why... Oh, thank you for the sub, Brandon. So are you... How new are you? I don't care. Hey, Michael. As long as they're not being disgusting or really rude, I don't care. Hey, MD, what's up? It's awesome. I got all kinds of people in here. I definitely came too late last time. I love being here during class time. I get so many more groups. I've had these groups going by. And don't forget, when it gets close to 5, I go over to the corner here to this light. It's the main entrance to the university. And I get hundreds of people coming through here at 10 minutes to 5. And I just go off. I hear that Cubs champion still needs some funds on his GoFundMe for his lawyer. Something I wanted to say about that, because Scooter Mom, you brought that up in your stream. You know, I've been in other streams where people are like, where's the money going? What are they doing with the money? Blah, 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 blah. And this is the thing I had to say at that time. I think I said it in, like, the chat. This is what I have to say about that. When I give, okay, I never tell anybody else what to do, but I'll tell you what I did and what I do. I'm brand new. I'm listening with fresh ears. Let me get this out, and then I'm going to give you all the whole spiel. Your jaw will be on the floor. Because 2 years ago, I didn't know anything. So, what it is, the reason I'm talking about this right now, Brandon, is they have $1 billion in offshore bank accounts. Their members don't even know that because they're constantly fundraising and asking them for money, because money doesn't go down in this place. It only goes up. So, they will pay homeless people to come after us. They're taught to try to come, because we've got protesters all over the world now. It started about 1.5 years ago and blew up. So that we're everywhere. And they have filed, the LAPD's in their pocket. They have made false arrests for Scientology because they give them millions to their organizations, because they've been in LA and Hollywood for 70 years. Here they're new-ish. So they don't have the APD, the Austin Police Department, I'm in Austin, Texas, in their pocket the same way. But so I've had like street people come attack me. They'll pay street people. So anyway, we've had people falsely charged, have to go to court, and we don't want to use, I wouldn't want to use a court-appointed attorney and to try to get out of it. And because we need, what it is Scientology doesn't care if they win. Their first leader taught them attack, 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 you know, use the legal system in your attack. They don't care if they win. The goal is to bankrupt you and take up your time. And sometimes when you're in court with them, you can't come protest. It's not a rule. It's just a lot of the lawyers tell you while you're in court for this, don't go protest. So that keeps a protester off the street for several months sometimes. And so Cubs champion, they're trying to take him to court for criminal charges. And what I was going to say about donating to a GoFundMe for one of the protesters especially, you know, don't give more than you can that you would need to worry about where the money's going. Know that it's possible they may not need it all. They may make more than they need. And I'm okay with that, me personally. This is me, okay? I don't care. I'm like, I'm not going to give more than maybe 20 bucks. And yeah, it's 20 bucks from a lot of people, adds up. So, but I'm like, you know, if they don't end up using it or needing it or whatever, I don't care. It doesn't bother me that much. I mean, maybe it's a thank you for doing all the protesting. That's just what I'm saying there. And we have 2 foundations, Brandon, that have been created by survivors of this cult to help them escape. And because a lot of times what we have now is 2nd and 3rd generation Scientologists. They're not really getting new members. Social media is killing that. Most of the people that walk by know Scientology is bad. So part of the reason I'm here is to let the people inside know they can leave, and the 2 foundations that will help them escape. And there's people going, oh, they're doing shady stuff. Call the IRS. Instead of complaining about it or wondering about it, call the IRS, tell them you think they're doing something shady, and they'll investigate. That's all you got to do. And that's what I said. If they're doing something shady, they'll get caught. If they're not, they'll be fine. Oh, so, no, are you talking about, what's going on? Let me go back. Something's going on. Oh, so, I'm sorry. I'll take it off. What I did is I was going through my memberships, and it won't tell me. I try to put people that gifted memberships especially as a sponsor of my trip. It wasn't telling me today. I was on my phone. I think on the computer it's different. So I always try to make somebody a sponsor that have given me money in some way. And you were listed as the newest member, Christina. So I put you as the sponsor of the stream. If you don't like it, I'll take it off. I don't know if I can do it while I'm live. Let me try. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can do anything wrong. I don't know if I can while I'm live, but I'll try. This is why I like having the second phone. I might be able to. Give me just a second. Let's see. Oh, okay, are you okay with it? Do you want me to take it off, or because it's just a thank you for anyone, even if it was gifted, it's fine. So I was just gonna go through, and if I don't have, I'll try. If anyone is gifted membership, Susie, I know you have. Please email me and let me know. I don't know why I can't find that. All right, let me go back. I don't see if I can edit it. Can do it? Okay. I'll remove it later for you, hon. I'm sorry about that. So, let me go back anyway. I heard a quote once that went something like, mistakes are more useful, something, something, and then serial killer bad. So I'll say serial SA bad. So what I normally do when somebody comes up, Brandon, is this is my sign. Scientology is a cult, ask me why. Because a religion will let you leave, and a cult won't. Oh, no, no, no. It says sponsored by Christina. It just means that you sponsored this live stream. So anyway, Brandon, it's bad. Like, almost worse than the Catholic Church's abuse is bad. Like, it's been around. The guy that started it was a science fiction writer in the 30s and 40s, and then he wrote a book called Dianetics in 1950 and started this religion because he told somebody once, I'm not making any money on my novels, so just to make money, I'm going to start a religion. And I've read that book. We're almost done with it. We've been reading it on Sundays, and it's been eye-opening. So this guy learned, anyway, in the Catholic Church, there's child abuse. What they have going on here is a completely different animal. Take these smaller cults and times that by all over the world. That's how they're able to survive, because they set it up all over at a lot of the centers at the same time, and the leader wasn't hands-on every center. I think the reason other cults explode or implode is because the leader is right there. He starts doing inappropriate stuff with the women. Then he gets a God complex. Thank you. And then they start to get paranoid, and then it dies. Well, that's not what happened with this place. They have too much money. The guy knew how to make it look good. Yes, Nasty Nathaniel. Yeah, I've actually not watched him that much. But to Brandon. So the first thing I say to people is what brought me here was the child abuse. We've had ex-members, they cover it up. Because in Scientology, it's a high crime to take another Scientology to court or to the authorities. So they cover it up, whether it's a member against a child or a parent against a child. And we know this because we have survivors that are out, and one of their dads went to the LAPD and confessed. We think to get the heat off the church, but the statute of limitations was up, and he confessed to everything, more than she remembered. And there are people that have gotten out that, so they move you a lot. I'm an Army wife. My husband's retired now. I didn't move around as much as they make these people move around from post to post. And their file goes ahead of them. And these people read this in their file because they have to confess. They have confession / therapy sessions they call auditing. And that's another child abuse thing too. And this one girl said she got the file, and it's all in there, everything he's ever done to his daughter. Same with anyone else. They think Scientology is going to fix them. There was, so then there's the elder abuse. That's what I go into next. So when you're their slave labor in Sea Org, so you have 3 levels. You have the public, somebody like me, thank you, that goes in here, spends a whole bunch of money to get auditing and take courses and better themselves, okay? The guy touted this as another form of therapy in 1950. It's not. And then you have the second level, which is... It's really loud because I'm in between stone buildings. They sign a 2 to 5 year contract. They work 100 hours a week and have to have usually a second job or a spouse that has a job, because if they don't make money in here, they don't get paid the $200 a week they're supposed to get. Then there's Sea Org. This guy created it just like the Navy. It's a military arm, and you sign a billion-year contract. A lot of times they sign up in 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. So they pull them out of school. They haven't had a decent education. just a lot of them that were put in the Sea Cadets as children, just have enough literacy to write and read some. And then, so when you're Sea Org, you sign a billion-year contract. Now, you could get married in the Sea Org, but you can't get pregnant. If you get pregnant and you're in the Sea Org, they will bus you to the clinic to get rid of it. Now, if you want to keep it, like some have, then you leave Sea Org. You're still a Scientologist. Now you're a public. Now you're going to be paying for courses. You think they would like that, but no, they treat you like scum on the bottom of your shoe if you get out of the Sea Org. You broke your billion-year contract. The reason they sign a billion-year contract is they believe they live multiple lives. I'm not going to go deep into that, but this is why there's child abuse. So they believe that they are what they call a thetan, what we would call spirit or soul. And they believe they were brought here 70-something trillion years ago from another galaxy. This guy they were overpopulated, and they brought them here. He dropped them in volcanoes. Their bodies died, but their thetans are flying around, and they go from body to body. When the body dies, it goes and gets a new baby body at the hospital. So they believe their children are not children. They look at their children as big beings in small bodies. So SAing a child in Scientology isn't considered a crime because they don't believe that they're children. And we have somebody, Laura FM. She has her own channel. She's a survivor. And her last phone call with her dad was this. When you leave the church, they have to disconnect from you. No one in this church can talk to you ever again. So their last phone call went like this. He said, well, you're not really my daughter, and I'm not really your dad. In your last life, you could have been an 80-year-old man. And that was it. He never talked to her again. So, let's see if I missed anything. Oh, Steve World. Hello, Steve World. So, that's why there's rampant child abuse, because they don't believe they're children. They think they're big beings in small bodies. And, I didn't get to the elder abuse yet. All right, so first of all, they scare you to death to go to the doctor. I'm not going to go into detail, but a lot of people don't get medical care, and there's a lot of rich celebrity Scientologists that are dying from stage 4 cancers because they won't go to the doctor until it gets so bad that Scientology can't fix it anymore. Okay? They hate psychiatry. They literally have a museum called the Industry of Death Psychiatry in Hollywood. The guy that started this religion hates psychiatry for his personal reason because they didn't help him. So when you're the Sea Org and you sign the billion-year contract, when you get too old to work and frail, they stick you in a home with other older Scientologists and no medical care still, and they take your Social Security and they take out credit cards in your name, but with false information because you don't have a job, knowing that when you die, the credit card will disappear. So Mike Brown, that's the name of his channel, he got out when he was 20 and went in the Army. His mom stayed in. She worked for them for 40 plus years. Had a heart condition they never treated, was in pretty bad shape. He found out, and you're not allowed to find out where your family members are if you've been declared. If you leave, usually you're declared. So, and she was Sea Org for all that time. So, and they move you around. So he finally found out where she was, and he went in there like Special Forces style and stole her. When she got out, she found out she was $160,000 in debt. Downright diabolical. Personally, I think there's an international secret cabal, like a secret society for and among cults and corrupt organizations. I don't doubt it. The things that we found out about Hollywood and these cults, and nothing surprises me anymore. But yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad. We've had people escape in trunks of cars. They got into a trunk of a car of somebody they have bases in like this is just an order. It's just one building. But in like Hollywood, California, they have like a couple blocks worth of buildings. And in Clearwater, where their flag land base is, where most of the Sea Org is, they have bought 93 buildings in Clearwater in order to own the whole downtown so they don't get non-members near their facilities. So it's like a Ponzi scheme, but they also are their victims. Yeah. Oh, and there's adult abuse too. Did you hear about the Danny Masterson case? He's an actor from that 70s show. He's been a Scientologist. His whole family is Scientologists. And after reading Dianetics and listening to John Atack, who was a Scientologist and has done 40 years of research on this stuff, on L. Ron Hubbard, the leader, this guy drugged and AR'd. We know of at least 10 women, maybe more, over from the late 90s until he went to jail in like 2014. So for 20 years, they covered up for him. And the reason, the first trial was a mystery. 3 of them, the reason they were able to bring charges so late is it was 3 victims instead of 1. So he got convicted, I think, last year. And he's friends with Ashton Kutcher, which is friends with Diddy, and there's a Scientology connection coming in. And they blame the victim and tell them it's their own fault. They're like, what did you do in your last life that was so bad that you pulled this in? If you have a car accident and it's their fault, they blame you. You get in trouble. You have to go to ethics handling, which is like interrogation. You have to do lower conditions, which is pretty much having everybody in your facility sign off on a piece of paper that you're not a piece of shit anymore. And hey, Wesam. Oh, dude, I've been married to the same guy since I was 16. I ain't no cougar. So I'm protesting a multi-billion-dollar corporation that abuses children and traffics non-English speaking people to other countries so they can have slave labor. So, but I'm talking to Brandon mostly here because we're in a place here. So where am I? So they have their bases. So we've had one person is suing them right now who had to escape in the trunk of a car. We had somebody try to get away from another California base that's kind of in the inland on a motorcycle, and they ran him off the road. And the only reason he got away is a passerby called the police and was on scene, or they would have drug him back. His wife escaped around the same time, and they found, now this is California, they found her at the bus depot in Las Vegas and drug her butt back. So there's 2 foundations that will help them escape, get them an apartment, get them a job, get them a GED, because most of them in here were forced in as children by their parents and don't have an education. So they have to get, when they escape, they have to get at least a GED and a job and an apartment, and they don't know how to do any of this because they've been in Scientology their whole lives. Thanks, Scooter Mom. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I like BTS, who's K-pop. They're young. I call them, they are pretty. These boys are pretty. In no way am I attracted to them. They're in their 20s. I'm like, my kid's in their 30s. I'm not going to be doing that. No. Far from it. Oh, and Scooter Mom, I know exactly what you're talking about with the shower thing. I cannot take a shower or bath before I do anything. It messes me up. Something many of you probably don't know about. So, anyway, if you have any questions, Brandon, that's what I'm here for. If he comes back and is rude, then you can put him in timeout. Are lonely. Their chat up lines need a lot of work. No joke. Hey, Dale. Showering is a waste of time. I don't know. I don't like being smelly. Hey, Nisa, comment. I can't believe that Scientology has been getting away with all of these crimes. It's the biggest infiltration in U.S. history. This is unbelievable. I know. Oh, hi, Cher. I saw you a second ago and forgot to say hi. Hey, Cher. Hey, Cher. Ooh, I got double digits today, y'all. So if anybody's watching that don't want to watch vertical, because I think it's annoying too to try to be in a chat because you can only see this much. So if you go to, so there's a site with all of our channels listed. There's like 200 of survivors, protesters, and other channels that have been helped us in the anti-Scientology movement. And hold on, Scientology covers up child SA and for predators in their schools, daycare, and churches. We have people who are adults now that have escaped and told us about it. It's a high crime in Scientology to take anyone to court for any reason or take them to the authorities, so they keep getting away with it. Thank you, Scooter Mom. I don't know. I'm vertical, so anyway, if you go to the sptv.space that was just listed, the channels that are live are at the top. If you click on my channel, Miss Kim SP, then you can watch me horizontal. So, glad you're here, Dale. No face has no face. You guys are funny. Thank you, thank you. I'm getting a lot of traffic today. I've noticed the traffic is a lot less on Fridays, but I come for the graduation ceremony that I don't think they're having anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, I think I need to go back to my...
I suppose.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Elgear. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm getting... Oh, you guys? So, I heard Natalie talking about the weather. I don't know what show I was on, because I just get caught up while I'm driving, because I got 3 hours to kill in the car. She was talking about the weather. Y'all, so it's my husband's end of my husband's weekend today. So not last night, but the night, both the last 2 nights. We were like, why is it so hot? And we had the heater running. We kept turning down, turn it down, turn it down. Finally, I said, just turn it off. We'll turn it back on when it gets cold. It never did. So I finally, yesterday, last night, I looked at, because I knew I was coming. The only time we look at the weather is if he's going to work or I'm coming here. Dude, it's going to be 80 degrees by Monday. It was literally freezing less than a week ago. Like 4 or 5 days ago. It is freaky. Brandon, wow, this is such a big deal. I don't even know what to say. Wasn't there a big actor that everyone knows that was Scientologist? Yes, Tom Cruise. And you know, we used to wonder, as never-ends, that's what we are, we were never-in, if he really knew what was going on with, you know, down at the bottom, because he's best friends with the leader of David Miscavige, the second leader. They're about the same age. They ride motorcycles together and all kinds of stuff. But we found out that David Miscavige, the current leader, gifted Tom Cruise slave labor. He sent Sea Org members to his home to work for him, to do whatever, lawn care or whatever. Now, for them, it was probably fun because they got to get out of the org, because Sea Org is never allowed to, they don't even go outside. Hardly at all. They're not allowed to go anywhere. They're watched every minute of the day. And when I found that out, the guy's worth $300 million and he had to use slave labor from the church. Right then, I was like, nope, that guy knows exactly what's going on. Hey, Janet. Oh, that's fine. Oh, making meatballs. My husband would love you. But, yeah, we got some new people in going vertical, so I'm giving them the lowdown. Plus, people hear me when they're walking by, too. So, there's a Scientology-run school called the Delphi Academy, and there is a lawsuit right now by a victim who in 2011 was a child at that school. They covered for a child predator in their Scientology school and not only let him finish his contract, but gave him a glowing review to a new school. I'm yelling because of the traffic noise. So if I'm too loud, let me know. He went to the new school, attacked 6 more kids. Now he's in prison because that school wasn't a Scientology school. So now he was the basketball coach. So now from 2011 to 2012 or somewhere around 2011. And so now he's suing. He's obviously out of Scientology, or he wouldn't be suing. He wouldn't be allowed. But he's suing the school now because they allowed that child predator to continue the abuse. Then There was a Scientology ran daycare who had a predator. I don't know what happened to him, but a lot of times what they do is if they're in Scientology, they do that. They move them around. They'll just move them somewhere else to go attack other kids. Now I had a home daycare for 8 years, and most of the day your age group is 4 and under, because the other ones are at school. And so that's the age group I'm picturing. And this guy was abusing the kids. I don't know what they did with him, but they never told the parents. They never told the parents in the Scientology daycare that they had been molested. And these kids were so young, they probably don't, they're going to deal with it, but probably will never know how to articulate that. Hey, Mr. Fraud. Hey, Cricket. What's up? Wow, hey, Adam. All right. The gang's here. Man, y'all, so I was in the car looking through my memberships. I was trying to figure out who had gifted memberships. If you have gifted a membership, please email me. Maybe on my computer it'll show me more, but all it shows me is who is a member or who and when they became a member. Because I want to make sure that I make, especially anybody that gifted memberships, sponsored. But even members, if I run out of people that gifted, I'm gonna make regular members a sponsor if I need a sponsor. So every live stream from Austin, there'll be a sponsor. If you don't want your name up, let me know, and I'll post this, because Christina was kind of freaked out about it. I had her on today because she thought something was hinky. So it's just a thank you. Whether you bought it or not, it doesn't matter. I didn't realize how many members I have and how many members are higher than the first level. I was going through the list in the car. I was like, I didn't get to count. There's a lot. That's awesome. Let's see. Sitting in my backyard waiting for the coyotes to show up. Uh-oh. Are you armed? Cher has a farm, so. Adam, the Cruise Volta, is the new electric Scientology sedan. It gets children to abducted in 3.1 seconds. Okay. But yeah, this is how I found out, Brandon. 2 years ago, this is my personal story. And if you want to go look up my personal story, I did a little live stream about it. It was mainly for friends and family, because I haven't really told them. Because I'm an Army wife and my husband got stationed here. We've been in Texas for 32 years. But our family is in another state, so we're not around them a lot. And so I wanted to let them know. Oh, by the way, I also do a fun live stream on Saturday nights. We just bullshit and have fun. So a lot of people that are in here today are usually in that chat too. So anyway, I was bedridden. I got sick in 2010. I was bedridden off and on, and then 6 years ago, I became really bedridden. I injured 5 discs in my lower back. So, I'm not complaining, because I think things happen for a reason. It doesn't even have really anything to do with that I'm a Christian. I also believe in karma. I believe the universe will get you. So, if I hadn't been bedridden, I wouldn't have been watching YouTube. I'd never really been into YouTube that much, but I'd run out of stuff to binge watch on Netflix and Prime and all that. So this channel popped into my feed. It was it was a survivor, and I started watching. And then I went back and binge watched a year of their videos. I couldn't go back all the way, and I was dumbfounded. And then that channel started showing me other channels of survivors, and I started watching them. And I did a huge deep dive. I've never watched one of the documentaries or the shows that have been done about it. I've gotten all my information from survivors from their mouth. Watched them on YouTube tell me their story. That's why I've had people get in my face and said, how do you know? How do you know? And I'm like, because everybody has a very similar story. I want to hope Tom Cruise is like some sort of inside agent that will expose them and take them down from the inside, but that's just my wishful thinking. But I bet that would be his cover if busted. You know, that's what's funny, is the leader of Scientology did that exact same thing. It was found out that in the late 40s, 46, 47, that he was into black magic with Jack Parsons, who was a Aleister Crowley acolyte. If you don't know anything about that, they were into Satanism. Anyway, he was into sex magic and was trying to bring forth the Antichrist. This was before he started Scientology. Well, when it came out about that, he said that he worked for the CIA and he was sent in to bring them down or get them information. He lied about everything in his background. So that's funny you say that. No, the thing about Tom Cruise is his first wife, Mimi Rogers, I think her name was, got him into Scientology. He wanted to join the Sea Org. And I think he'd already done Top Gun, not sure. But he'd also wanted to be a priest before he became an actor. They told him, no, you would better serve us staying a celebrity. Yeah, of course, he's donated, tens of millions of dollars. Biggest puzzle for me is how so in-your-face trafficking F. Sciento is. I know. It's super hard for me to watch him anymore. I went ahead and watched a couple movies because, they're okay. But, because I don't want to punish the people on the movies either. Just like this Neil Gaiman crap. I'm going to finish watching Good Omens and stuff because I don't want to punish the actors and other actors that are in it. It's not fair to them to have to go down with the ship. So, if you don't know, Brandon, Neil Gaiman I think still is a Scientologist, but he was being audited or being trained as an auditor at age 7. Now, let me explain auditor training. An auditor in the church is like, the only way I can describe it to a never-end is therapy/interrogation. They get into your business and you have to confess everything. You can't hide anything. You can't have ill thoughts about members, the leader, the church, or you get in super, super trouble. And when I say super, super trouble, I mean the highest execs in the church in the early 2000s, David Miscavige put them, he beat them regularly, and then he put them in a place called the Hole. It was a double-wide trailer on the property. They were given a blanket. They slept on the floor. They were fed out of buckets of slop. And not for weeks or months, for years. And eventually all of them left. Now, they didn't necessarily leave because they disagreed with Scientology. They only left because of how they were treated by the leader. So, some of them have had ill intentions even as they've been outside. So, no face. There's a lot more in the backstories of the SP protesters, activists. Yeah, this ain't just YouTube fun. Real people, real change. Oh, thank you, no face, thank you. It wasn't in my bingo card to become an activist. I watch TV like everybody else, and I read things, and I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. But I've never had anything that made me want to do something about it. So, Brandon, my backstory, let me finish. So, November before last, I got a pain stimulator put in my back. It was healed up by January, and this place opened in February. And I started protesting the week prior. So that's why I say things happen for a reason. Had I not been bedridden, I would have probably never found the anti-Scientology channel or channels. And if I hadn't been fixed when I wouldn't have been able to come protest. I couldn't even sit up, let alone stand. That's a good title. I like that, Adam. I'm a reverse Dianeticist. That's cool. I like that. That has been a wild ride, y'all. A wild ride. And then last week, instead of reading Dianetics, we went over the interview with John Atack, the first one. And I just pulled out the parts that kind of had something to do with what we'd read or discussed in Dianetics. That was an interesting conversation. We have really good conversations. We get to talking, even here sometimes. So I'm partly here. So a lot of it is, let me show you the building. So a lot of it is educating the community here. because I've had so many people see my sign, look up, and go, I never knew they were even here, and I'll show you why. It's a beautiful building. He bought it 55 years ago, the first leader, and see, but the light up sign, well, I think that lights up too, is clear up there on the 3rd story. So most people, you know, they don't look up like that, and they don't have a sign out front. Oh, thank you, Cricket. Oh, you know, I think it was either Papa Smurf or Gary Mackey or both that said, I said something about talking too much, and he said, Miss Kim, talk too much? Obviously, I think I've been being trained for this my whole life. Oh, Cricket, you going to San Francisco? Are you going to go protest there? Or just for fun? John Atak's interview with Natalie are some of the best ones I've seen him give. I know, and I've watched him with, I forgot the guy, Andrew Gold, and I got a lot out of it. But I think I got way more out of it with his interview with Natalie, because he got questions from an actual ex-Scientologist, and I thought that was great. Yeah. And, you know, I would have never gotten as into the Dianetics and all that if I hadn't had you guys talk to about it. That's been the best part. Our discussions have been really eye-opening, too. Especially when we get AA in there, who's an ex-member, giving us the lowdown. I love that, too. I've learned so much. I have learned so much more. Can't believe we're going to have... We were trying to turn the AC on today, but I said, no, let's wait. But yeah, if Brandon's still here or any new people are still here, I would recommend Natalie's channel, Natalie Life After a Cult. She had a guy on named John Atak, who was a member for 9 years. He wasn't in Sea Org or staff. But after he got out, he was harassed for 16 years. And he's deep dived into all cults, but he's written books about the leader of Scientology, his background, Scientology itself, and he's he would deprogram people from cults or Scientology. So it was a really awesome... Oh, no bots blowing? Okay. No, I do have a chair, Janet. Back in May and June, I was having a real trouble with my asthma because it was very humid. So I started bringing my chair. But I found out that after that time, my back got weak. And when I started standing again, it took a while. So I would rather stand if I can. He hasn't put my chair back in the truck yet. But I usually bring it anyway, even though it makes my wagon heavy, just in case. It's just a camping chair. But I need the exercise because I don't do much. I'm about to start going to the gym. I'm tired of being a slug. Because, you know, when you're not active for 14 years, I've lost all my lean muscle. I have no muscle tone at all. So I at least need to get stronger. I need to do some cardio too. And I can't go for a run or walk on my own because of my balance issues. So I figured a treadmill or a bike. Last time I went, I did the stationary bike. Do you have any questions?
So are you a Christ follower?
I am, but that's not what brought me here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what brought me here was the child abuse. I found some survivors of the cult on YouTube that are telling their stories.
In the Church of Scientology?
Yeah, they escaped. And we found out about the rampant child abuse because they don't have a deity they believe in. Yeah. It's this tech, and they believe children are big beings in small bodies because they live multiple lives. So they don't treat them like children. They don't nurture them. They don't get the education they should get, and they start working them at 10 to 12 years old in the church. And so that's what brought me, is finding out about, because you're not allowed to take a Scientologist to court or to the authorities. So even when, thank you.
It's definitely a cult.
All right.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
even when they know that it's going on,
Yeah.
it goes in their file and everybody knows about it. They just cover it up.
Yeah.
And then when you get too old to work for them, they have 3 levels. They have public, staff, and they have Sea Org. Well, Sea Org signs a billion-year contract. And when you get too old to work for them, they put you in a home with, other elderly, and take out credit cards in your name, because they know when you die it's gonna disappear. Mike Brown, who got his mom out about a year or 2 ago, he got her out, and she had a major heart problem and wasn't getting treatment for it, and found out she was $160,000 in debt. They have $1 billion in offshore bank accounts, and the members don't know.
Well, any church not founded on Christ and His Word is not a church.
Yeah, it's not. And the only reason they lost their tax exempt status in '78 because they infiltrated the FBI. They had people go to jail for that.
Yeah.
In 1996, they used their money and they used lawfare against people all the time. And they sued the IRS 2,200 times, individual agents and the IRS, until they just bullied them into giving them their tax exempt status back. Other countries won't give it to them because they have a list of their services and prices. It's pay to play. And so if it's not donation based, you can't be a church. And the part about being a cult is their bottom level of members called Sea Org, and he based it over the original leader on the Navy. And they have to sign a billion-year contract because they've lived multiple lives, they think.
Yeah.
And
There's
so,
only one truth. Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to the Father but
well,
through
you
me."
would understand this. They're a family-destroying cult. So if you're in the Sea Org, you can get married, but they'll send your spouse away for 5 years. If you get pregnant, they will take you to the clinic. You're not allowed to have kids. And if
Criminal.
it is criminal, that's the thing.
Yeah.
What the bank fraud, Chase Bank won't even deal with them anymore because of all the rampant fraud.
Yeah.
They have, members have had to escape in trunks of cars. They've drugged them back from bus stations. If they think you're thinking of leaving, they'll put you in a room under guard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is criminal. The problem is we can't get anybody to listen because they got so much money and they've been around so long. Most cults have imploded by now, but because the way he set it up and had so many different organizations, instead of most cults implode because the leader's on top of everything, it's just this small thing, and then he ends up getting paranoid and losing it. That's not the way he set this up right. This guy L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer, the original leader that created this in 1950. So, and they've lived in secrecy for 50 years, but we have now about 100 of us doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We call ourselves loosely SPTV. SP is a suppressive person. My channel is Miss Kim SP, because that's an enemy of the church. And so between ex-member channels, I call them survivors, protesters, and we're all over the world, the protesters, and the other channels that help us in activism, there's 200 channels on YouTube doing this. But the story's not getting out that we're doing this.
Good for what you're doing.
Thank you.
I commend you for that.
Yeah, and I live 75 miles from here.
Yeah, I commend you for
But
that.
I appreciate that.
I'm sure it's a good opportunity to also proclaim what is true, that Jesus is the truth. Yeah.
I actually don't do that.
You don't?
No, because the community that watches me and the community that is around SPTV comes from all walks of life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to push that too much and alienate anyone.
I see. Yeah.
So and that's not really what brought me here. I don't care too much what other religions do until they start abusing their people,
Yeah.
and that's what, and so the rampant child abuse just, and they cover it all up. So, but I appreciate it. I know in like an indirect way, I am, doing that, trying to take down somebody that's calling themselves a church, and they're not.
That's right. There is only one head of the true church, and that's Christ himself. So
I do believe that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Yep.
Spread the word. Oh, I forget to turn it around. see, where was I? Thanks, Brandon. Innocent, yeah. The thing is, people don't want to read a pamphlet. The people that have given out flyers have found them on the street, on the ground. So I would rather stand and have a conversation with somebody, or I'm hoping at least people that walk by me are hearing me and might go check it out for themselves. Most people know Scientology bad. And the other thing is, innocent shenanigans. Being out here and being visible is hopefully, especially across from University of Austin, is that, because this is our capital, that maybe some kid of a senator or an IRS person will see us and talk to their parents about it. If you have any questions, that's what I'm here for.
I know it is a cult, but I don't know why.
Because a religion will let you leave and a cult won't let you leave. So they have 3 levels of members, and their bottom level, which is their slave labor, they sign a billion-year contract because they believe they live multiple lives. And they will get them in. Most of what you see in here is second and third gen now, because most people in this day and age know Scientology is bad. So they've been indoctrinated since children. In the Sea Org especially, but they don't want you to leave at any level. And they will coerce you to not leave. And they will harass you if you do leave. They have an arm called the Office of Special Affairs. It's their dirty tricks department. They will hire private investigators to follow you. They'll go through your trash. They'll call your job. There was a prosecutor on the Danny Masterson case who was a Scientologist. One of the prosecutors, the lower, quit. They broke his windows. They followed him, and that's the kind of stuff that they do, because when you leave, and you have to disconnect from your family. But the bottom level, when they join, they work 100 to 110 hours a week. They do feed and house them, but if they don't make money, which they're not when I'm standing here, they get fed beans and rice. They're supposed to get $50 a week, but they don't always get paid. And you're allowed to get married, but if you get pregnant, they will bus you to the clinic. And we've had people escape in trunks of cars. We've had them drug back from bus stations. We've had them put in rooms under guard because they thought they might want to leave. That's what I mean. Now staff, they sign a 2 to 5 year contract, and they can, stop being in staff and just still be a Scientologist. But if you leave the church and you do get away, you have to disconnect from everyone you know in the church. If you're married and they don't leave with you, you have to get a divorce. And that's one of the biggest reasons Tom Cruise doesn't have much to do with his daughter. Oh, thank you. You gave that to me before. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Did you see that person? She did several months ago, and she doesn't look like she has it. She gave me $20 a few months ago. I wish I knew her name. That's awesome. That'll pay for my gas. But I didn't know anything about it 2 years ago, and it popped in my feed on YouTube, and I did a deep dive, and now I watch ex-members. Now, the movement, about a year and a half ago, people started doing what I'm doing. And now, and I thought, well, if they can do it, maybe I can do it. And I started when they opened a year ago.
How did you feel about that?
Oh, I was angry because he bought this building 55 years ago on purpose because it's across from the university. And they will have what they call body routers, stand outside or have a table out to try to... Yeah, I walked up on 2 freshmen because that's who they're after. The people that don't have friends yet are far, just first time away from home. And they will love bomb you at first. And then once you're in, it's coercion, and it's really... The guy studied hypnotism and mind control. The training that is done in here literally is hypnotism. And they put you in so much in a re-stimulation of trauma type atmosphere. You're constantly busy. You're constantly worried. People will write KRs on you, which is a knowledge report if you say or do something wrong. They do it on their spouses. And kindness is looked down upon. They actually have a derogatory word for it. Now, they may seem nice when you come in, and there are people that have gotten out that are nice, but that's not what they're taught. And let me get some more water. But if you want to take a picture of this, these are some channels of the first survivors that I started watching. The first one here, and then Serge Del Mar. He's younger, and he's gay, and you're not allowed to be gay in the church.
I feel like few churches let you go.
Yeah, well, they don't have a deity. They don't have a faith.
Then what else?
They call it the tech. That they go in and they take courses, and the leader promised when you go up these confidential levels, you have to have $150,000 to do that. And when you don't have money, then you're the slave labor.
Oh.
Okay?
So
And did I?
Tom Cruise.
He's public. He's the one that gives tens of millions of dollars. They have $1 billion in offshore bank accounts, but the members don't even know. And they're still fundraising. And money doesn't trickle down. It only goes up. So if they don't make money, the Sea Org members get beans and rice and don't get their 50. And the staff doesn't get their 200. And I know a guy walked by who had signed up for staff. They try to get people to sign up that maybe aren't versed in Scientology. And he was having to go to another church to get fed. Because if you're staff, you live away from Scientology, so you have to have a moonlight job after 100 hours here a week, or a spouse that covers your bills. But it's the Sea Org, and the reason there's rampant child abuse, SA, because they look at their children as big beings in small bodies, because they've lived multiple lives, so they don't think it's so bad, and they cover it up. I know. And I was getting to something. Oh, Laura FM, she's on there. If you go watch her, she a lot of those their bigger bases is in LA, Hollywood, and Clearwater, Florida, and then they're all over the world. And her last conversation with her dad, when she left, he had to disconnect from her. She got one last phone call, and he said she was upset. He goes, "I don't know why you're upset. You're not really my daughter, and I'm not really your dad. In your last life, you were probably an 80-year-old man." Do you mind being on camera? It's on me right now. Want me to leave it there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I do like to ask first. But yeah, and I'm like, so like 2 years ago, I didn't know anything. And then I did that deep dive, and I was like, when I found out they were opening here, I'm like, I drive 75 miles to come here.
Where are you from?
Up near the base, the Clean area, the Army base, because my husband retired from the Army up there.
You're such a good person for actually coming out and like doing this. Because I feel like
This wasn't on my bingo card a couple years ago. I never thought I was never the activist type, you know. And having my chat, I get a lot of regulars that come, and we try to support, because we're all us protesters are small channels. We're not big.
Are you on like TikTok or YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay,
YouTube. Yeah.
What's your account?
Miss Kim SP,
Got
and it's a Texas symbol, so you'll know it's me. But yeah, SP, like I said, is considered a suppressive person, and you get declared that when you leave, or you're an enemy of the church. So I put that in my name. Let me see what they're saying in here. I get chat when you guys stop by. Live action super chat. I know, right? I love it when you guys stop by, especially if you don't know anything. I take it you don't know much.
I don't, because I've always heard like Scientology is cool. I actually had a couple friends like who were curious and like went in, and then they like toured it, and then afterwards the staff was like, okay, can you like sign this? And then they got scared, so they're like,
Good.
they don't want to sign.
Don't give them your real information, because they will never leave you alone. We know people that's all they did, and 30 years later they're still getting hounded. They're getting sent stuff even after moving. Yeah, because they have stats they have to do and write down all the time. They're constantly under pressure to sell books, sell courses, give out pamphlets, and everything they do gets, and really the only way to get off their list is to either tell them you're under psychiatric care, which is they hate psychiatry and psych drugs, or you're active against them like I am. Hey, Mr. Fraud, thank you. Thank you, guys. But yeah, so I try to come 3 times a week, but the last couple, 2-3 months with the weather, I haven't been able to make it. But it's about to warm up. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's gonna be freaking 80 degrees on Monday.
I'm so excited.
I am, but like a few days ago, it was freezing.
Yeah.
I've been here 32 years. This is actually weirder than most winters. I think this is probably we had way more freeze days than we most of the time since Snowmageddon, the few years ago.
The February one?
Yeah. Before that, we maybe got 3-4 days, freeze days a year. And lately it's been getting weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, that's why I have this sign out, because it gets the conversation started.
Yes.
And if you know any, that's the thing, is like when my kids didn't want to go to church anymore when they turned 18, they stopped going.
Yeah.
Here, you can't do that. Matter of fact, celebrities that don't go anymore, that aren't active, never speak out about it, because you will be hounded. Leah Remini, she's an actress that had wrote a book and then had an the Aftermath. It was called The Aftermath. Leah Remini and the Aftermath. She had a show. They will hound you. They have a special department called Office of Special Affairs. Their whole job is to go after enemies of the church. They hire private investigators. They go through your trash. They follow you. And they, for the protesters, they will pay homeless people to come after you, which I've had two. I've had two people get verbal. There was one guy that, the first one, I think he would have got physical, but there's another homeless guy that's kind of friendly with us and happened to be here and got between us. I ended up having to call the police because he couldn't he kept trying to come back. He ended up being in the middle of the street, stopping traffic, and they arrested him. Never saw him before that, never saw him after that. Normally you see the same people in a neighborhood. They have their neighborhoods. Well, we know for a fact they've done, especially LA's the bigger protest community because they have a big base there in Hollywood. But we're all over Paris, the UK, Australia, Canada. I got a couple people in here from Canada and Ireland and stuff that watch, and it's really cool. But the word's not getting out that I've never heard of 200 channels on YouTube all working towards the same goal. I don't mean collabing and having the same topics. I mean all working for the same goal, and that has not been a story yet. We've been doing this they started in LA in October before last. In February it'll be a year for me when they opened this. So, and then when you get too old to work for them, when you're Sea Org, they put you in a home. You've never got medical care, by the way, no medical care. And they take credit cards out in your name because when you die, they go away. And they don't even know it. So when Mike Brown, he's on the list, he got his mom out last year, about a year ago, and she found out she was $160,000 in debt.
They just ruin your life.
Oh, they do.
That's crazy.
They totally do. And there's two foundations that help them escape, because a lot of times Sea Org and staff especially, they're taken out of school in middle school sometimes or early high school to work and sign up.
What kind of work do they do?
It's just paperwork and giving courses. There's a lot of redundancy.
Is it ever manual labor?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, if you get in trouble, there's a thing called the RPF. Guys, help me with what RPF stands for. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, it's worse than prison. Now, they say they don't have it anymore. So you wear black. You have to run everywhere you go. You literally sometimes break rocks. And you're treated like the worst of the worst because you're in trouble. They had a bunch of execs leave in the mid-2000s because the current leader, there's been two, the original and this guy they're both nuts. He would physically abuse them, and then when he got mad, these are the top level people in Scientology, the executives. He put them in a place called The Hole. It was a double wide trailer. This is in inland California where it's really hot. With only a blanket, they get fed in buckets, no mattress, slept on the floor, and not for weeks or months, years. So those group of execs ended up leaving and talking out about the church. Now, they didn't leave the church because they didn't like Scientology. It was just the leader. So we've had a couple of them do some shady crap or go back or get paid off. You know, that kind of... They have a lot of money. And that's the problem. And so we have a lot of protesters that they've gotten falsely arrested, that are in court, and we have to help each other with court costs because they have a lot of money.
So this is dangerous work then.
Yeah, I could get targeted. They don't get physical themselves, but like I said, they have paid. We've had people in LA get attacked many times. Like I said, But luckily, they tried to swat me once with the cops with a fake call. They said shots fired at this location. It was really early on. And when they realized that, I'm not one of the louder protesters. You know, I'm not really a thorn like some people are. Because we have another lady that just got her case settled. They don't care if they win or not. It's all about, while you're in court, a lot of times your lawyer tells you not to come protest or to bankrupt you. So, because if they sue you or you sue them, they don't want to get the discovery phase where you can look at their stuff. So they will, pay lawyers ridiculous amounts of money, and then eventually, if you have a good case, they'll pay you off. Or they get members to file false charges. And LA's the worst. LAPD's in their pocket because they have a big base there, and they've been there for 70 years and they've given millions of dollars to the police organizations, and they hire them for their big events and pay them triple rate and double their income. We've gotten their pay stubs, their public knowledge, and their base pay in the LAPD is like 65 grand, and then their overtime is 65 grand, which is usually through the Scientology. So when they really, the first several months, they really were falsely arresting our protesters, knowing there's 4 or 5 people filming live that could prove them wrong, but they do it on Friday, so they're in jail all weekend, knowing they'll probably get out. And they do, and they go right back to protesting. They're not sure how to deal with us, because when they had protests before, it was here and there every once in a while. We're somewhere every day filming. And see how they're closed?
Yeah.
They're not like that when I get here. Just because I have a camera, they close their doors and pull their blinds. We time them to see how fast they are. How many churches do you know that pull their blinds down?
Oh, so they're still open?
Yeah, they're open.
Oh.
Yeah, they close because I'm here. I'm like, there's nothing to hide. It's like a bookstore and a cafe, but that's just what they're secretive, and they have things to hide. The sad part is, a lot of these people don't know all of this.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed to talk to each other. They're not allowed to question. If you get too friendly with another, like, Sea Org or staff, they'll move them. Because they don't want people. And when you get married in Scientology, or in the Sea Org, I'm mostly talking about their slave labor. They get married many times because they don't get to date. There's no dating. You don't have the time for that. It's literally like, I like you, you want to get married. So, and then they'll move them off for 5 years to some other base, and you don't get to see them, and they don't care. You can have a family member die and ask for that time off, and they'll tell you no. They do not. And that's why, matter of fact, I heard somebody saying today that the reason they're failing, they tell their members they got 30 million members. They don't even have 30,000 worldwide. What? Yeah, and that's what we're documenting. We're documenting nobody going in and out of here. Nobody. They probably have more staff in Sea Org than they do members. I think we said we had more people watching the anti-Scientology channels than they have members. So, but they lie to them because they know they can get away with it. And they may not even know about a lot of this stuff if they weren't personally involved in it. And so part of what I'm here for is to let them know there's foundations that'll help them escape and that they can leave. So that's about all I can tell them. I try not. We had some aggressive protesters at first. They've chilled out because we realized they're victims too. They were indoctrinated as kids by their parents that got in before internet. But you might want to. Well, I appreciate you staying. I never know how long you guys are going to stay, so I give you the hard stuff first.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yay, she's still here.
Oh yeah, this is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to know, but like.
Well, Serge Del Mar, his story will break your heart. Because he'll explain, so and what they do, part of what they do in here is auditing, and it's like therapy/interrogation or confession. But the auditor training is so abusive, and they do it with 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They find the worst stuff on the dark web to yell at them. Just horrible stuff they shouldn't even know about until they can't show emotion. Because they have to be an auditor, you have to be able to sit there and listen to people confess the horrible stuff they do and not get emotional. And that's child abuse.
That is. Thank you so much for
Oh, well, thank you for stopping. Thank you for listening.
I know so much more. And
Mm-hmm.
it's terrifying. I think about this every time I walk around.
Mm-hmm. Just tell your friends and tell them if they do want to troll. I don't mind them going in and trolling them. Just don't give them your real information. Yeah. People are like, are they going to kidnap me in there? I'm like, no. They're not that bad. They're not that bad yet.
Yeah,
All right.
such great work. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too. That was awesome, guys. I wanted to, but she was really pretty too. Can you see her? She's right there. She just come from the coffee shop. That was awesome. Now I'm gonna go check the chat. I cannot pay attention to the chat and talk. I just can't do it. Cricket. Pamphlet doesn't have a smile. I do like my lipstick. Hey, Twyla. Yep. Oh, I forgot about that. Or did I hear that? Running the prosecutor. I think I missed that or I forgot it. Oh, need to know that. Live action super chat. Yeah, I didn't know she was going to say that. You never know. I didn't report this to Inland Revenue because I don't live in. I used to watch Benny Hill. I just like the music. Yep, David, for sure, if you're still here. Rehabilitation Project Force. I couldn't remember. I knew it. It's just sometimes my brain don't work. Yeah, they don't have it anymore. Wink, wink. No joke. Now they known as the EPFB. The Consensual Happy... Adam says, I think the RPF is now known as the Consensual Happy Fun Time Brigade. No joke. You know how they like to change words around. Thanks, Journey. I'm glad you stopped by. Didn't even see her. Hey, Dusty. What's going on Saturday, Dusty? I'm waiting. Definitely let me know when you do the tie-dye thing. I'm going to try starting that up this weekend. See how they come out. Feral Cheryl's here. What's up? I haven't watched your interview yet. I'm going to. I kind of did no Scientology for a few days. So I have to get caught up. Whenever it's my husband's weekend, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we watch TV. And so he's not as into watching the Scientology stuff as I am. Oh, yeah. The fundraiser. I actually already donated to him, but I might do it again. I try to help out as much. Like I was saying earlier about the fundraiser. I said to people about me, you know, because I see so many people trying to stir the pot with where the money go, what are they doing with the money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, don't give more than you can feel. I don't want to say that to you. I don't want to say that. I don't give more than I'm comfortable with just giving to someone. Okay? Meaning, a lot of times they'll make more than their goal. Or maybe they won't need the whole thing. Whichever. And I don't care what they do with the rest. Have fun. I don't care. So, I don't give more than I would feel comfortable with, like this lady just did. She just handed me $20. I don't know who she looks homeless. I don't think she is. She just might be, you know, a little wild. Because how does she always hands me a folded up $20 bill. Always. It's been twice. First time made me cry. Because I'm like, she does not look like she could give away $20. She does it so quick and runs off. So I tried to catch her this time. Took a week off too. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody needs a break. You can't do anti-Scientology all the time. That's why I do the Saturday night thing. Why other people are doing the fun stuff. We need that. We need that. We need a break. So what time is it? Okay, we're in the middle of class now. But when it gets about 4:45, I try to move over there by the traffic light because I get people leaving school for the day at the light. I get hundreds of students coming through this intersection. But, oh, I heard that Pearl Snappy won her court case. Yes. Or didn't have to sign anything about not protesting. Flag on Friday, panel for Cub on Saturday, dying on Monday, washout on Tuesday. Our anniversary at Flag that Friday. I saw concert night in Saltwater that. I know, Monday, I want to come out here so bad on Mondays, but I can't do it because I'm usually here Friday evening for graduation, which I haven't seen a graduation. Saturday night, I'm up late with the live stream. Then I can't sleep in on Sunday too much because then I have Dianetics on Sunday, and on Monday I'm out. I know what you mean. And then this week it's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I definitely try to get here on Friday evening, but I haven't seen the sign. So this Friday, I'm not going to say. I got to remember not to say things online because someone might hear. So just keep an eye out for me sometime Friday. There was something I was going to say, but I'm not going to repeat it. Ooh, she's got some bright pink pants on. Ooh, those are neon. Oh, we have a Steven. Hi, Miss Steven. I've never seen you before. What are your goals being out there? Okay, Steven. I am here protesting Scientology because of the child abuse. That is the reason that I drive 75 miles to get here. Because Farrah Cheryl's parents were in Scientology. I've watched 2 years ago. I knew nothing about Scientology, and then a channel popped into my YouTube feed, and I deep dived into it. And now I'm part of a very large community, which includes 100 protest channels, ex-member channels, who I call survivors, and other channels that help us with our activism. So if you go to sptv.space, not only can you find me live right now and watch me horizontal and not vertical, but you can find all the channels. You might find somebody that, you know, your age group or you like better, which is perfectly fine. So what brought me here was the child abuse. So they believe that they live multiple lives. So they look at their children like big beans in small bodies. And so essaying a child isn't considered that bad because they're adults in small bodies. And they're not nurtured the way that normal families would nurture. Now, I can't say every Scientology family is that way, but for the most part they are. Because in Scientology, being kind, especially in their slave labor force, I'll get into that in a second, there's derogatory. Cheryl, what is the name, if you know? What's the derogatory term they say to you if you're being kind? I only heard it once or twice and can't remember. It still keeps it vertical, just allows you to have controls if you're on the phone. Oh, okay, well that's good too. I've been out here, my year anniversary is in February when they opened across from the University of Texas, which is all of this. They bought this building purposely because it was across from a college so they could lure in the young people. And then the month after they opened this one, they opened one in Chicago, same thing, near a university. So I find out about all this rampant child abuse through survivors that have escaped, whether it be their parents or someone in Scientology. And if you're a victim in Scientology, it's your fault. I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating. They ask you, when you're in auditing, which is therapy/interrogation, they're like, well, what did you do in your last life to pull this in? You did something wrong, that you were in a car accident that wasn't your fault, or somebody argued you, it's your fault, which has happened. You're not allowed to take another Scientologist court. It's a high crime, and it's a high crime to take anyone to the authorities. There was a case against an actor in California because 3 of his victims decided to press charges anyway and went to court. Now he's in prison for 30 years to life because they were able to get a hold of the paperwork inside where he admitted to what he had done in Scientology. He admitted to it in his file but they cover it up.
They cover up everything.
And yeah, they do. And he said, yeah, I did it, but I didn't think it was wrong. He would drug and our women. And we know of at least 7 other victims. I think there's around 10 total for sure. And because there were 3 that were part of the case and 2 that testified. So that's 5. So they covered it up for 20 years. And so they're not allowed to think bad thoughts. They're not allowed to say bad things. They're not allowed to look on the internet. They're totally insulated in here. What I want to accomplish, first and foremost, is hearings in Congress to have their tax-exempt status taken away, because that's what protects them. Cops and government officials don't want to investigate a church. It looks bad. Have you been down to San Antonio to the first? No. I don't have, I get this all the time that I don't know if this is what you mean, if that's a bad or good thing. But people come up and says, why aren't you, there are other churches that do similar things. I said, well, first of all, they are being investigated and have been found guilty. This place is not. And I only have time for one activism project in my life. That's okay. Then, so we have the child abuse. Then we have the slave labor. So they have 3 levels. Top is public. They're the ones that come in and pay for services and give them all their money. Like Tom Cruise, he's a member. So is John Travolta. Then you have staff, which sign a 2 to 5 year contract and work 100 hours a week, but have to have a second job or a spouse with a job, because they don't get paid if they don't make money in here, like sell books or courses, which they're not, especially when I'm here. They're supposed to get $200 a week, which still isn't a living wage. Then you have the slave labor called the Sea Org, who the original leader was in World War II in the Navy, and it's their paramilitary force. They have a ship too, and they have to sign a billion-year contract because they believe they've lived multiple lives, and when they die, they go to a new baby body. And they can get married, but they can't get pregnant. If they do, they bust them to the clinic. If you keep your child and you get out of Sea Org, but you're still in the church, now you're paying them for services, which I don't understand. Then they're going to slap you with what they call a freeloader debt for all your training. So now it's not free anymore, and they treat you like the scum of the earth because you broke your contract in Sea Org. And I could go on and on and on about the abuses in the Sea Org. It's just horrible. I'm finding out new stuff. I just found out recently about this overboarding that the original leader used to do in the 60s. He had 3 ships at one time. Now they only have 1. He would tie their ankles, throw them overboard, which is higher, 2 or 3 times higher than a high dive board, in a harbor where the ships are letting out their sewage, leave them under, and then pull them back out for punishment. He had children. Back then, Sea Org was allowed to have children. They were kept in horrible conditions, and children were assigned to take care of them, the babies. Somebody told me about a baby that the back of their head was flat because they were never picked up and in a soiled diaper all the time. And there was a 5 to 8 year old, might be more than one, who got in trouble and was put in the chain locker of the ship. Now that's where they keep the chains for the anchor, and it's just a metal room with chains, no lights, locked in the dark. Now they might have got some light through the hole where the chain goes, I don't know. 5 to 8 years old and left in there. And I don't even know how long, hours or days, I don't know. It was a long time. I mean, everything they do in here traumatizes people. It just does. Everyone that comes out is just traumatized human beings. I used to go by that location frequently, never saw anyone go in or out at night. There were people studying on the 2nd floor. Now they were open at one time, and then they closed for a while to renovate, and which they made their members pay for millions of dollars. And they committed fraud to do it. Bank, usually credit card fraud. One person took their student loan and gave it to the church. That's fraud. What was I getting at? I'm going to turn it around. Nobody's coming. I'm leaning on the tree. I like my tree. So, so there's rampant child abuse that even other members don't know about because they hide it. So, if you see me go off book and say something like that, it's because I just saw a staff member go in, and I try to say things that they may not know about. A lot of times they don't. They don't talk to each other. If you make a friend in staff or in Sea Org, they will separate you. Did Cheryl ever hear my question? Cheryl, did you by any chance hear my question? I know people are in and out a lot of times. But yeah, that's because they take courses. So downstairs is a cafe and bookstore, and then they do courses upstairs. I just recently went to the Dallas org because I can't go in here. They knew who I am, and they've got an elevator that takes you upstairs to watch the videos. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to know, I know there's a derogatory term for if someone is kind, and I'll find out what it is. I'll go in somebody's chat and ask them. I know I've heard it, I just can't remember. But man, I got dry mouth today, y'all. So Steven, that's why I'm here. Because our goal is to try to get the government to pay attention and investigate and maybe have hearings about them losing their tax exempt status. The problem is because they bullied the IRS in the early 90s to get their tax exempt status back, they got extra caveats in said contract, so we can't go after them. Hi, do you have any questions?
I don't. But I can always ask you questions.
Sure.
Are you on a live stream?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Do you mind being on camera?
No, I don't. You want me to?
No, it's on me right now. I'm turning it around.
How many people are on your live stream?
9. I don't have a big channel.
Are they people that you know personally, or?
No, but there are people that are a lot of times in my chat and give me the support, because I'm not the only one. There's about 100 of us protest channels now all over the world. It started as a movement about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And when they opened here again after refurbishing in February of last year, I came down and started doing this with some other people. There's a group here in Austin. And so now we have 200 channels on sptv.space. It's either there's about 100 protest channels. There's survivors ex-members that have left that have channels, and we have a handful of other channels that support the activism against Scientology. So we have 200 channels all working for the same goal, which I've never heard of.
What's
on YouTube.
The goal?
To end Scientology, at the very least, to get their tax exempt status taken away, because that's what protects them from investigation. People don't want to investigate a church unless they have a lot of reason, and they've been around since 1950 and have greased so many hands with their money that they have so many people in their pocket. In LA, the LAPD's in their pocket. They false arrest the protesters all the time, knowing that they can prove with video that they didn't do anything wrong. But they do it on Friday, so they're in jail all weekend, and then they get the charges dropped on Monday. And they've done that a lot.
So this is what's interesting is, unfortunately, I'll be honest and vulnerable. My perception of you doing this, I think, would be with kind of a, I don't know, we like to obsess over things, and I was like, I don't know, maybe this is just your thing, like you want to bring these people down somehow. But
I do.
After chatting with you, I don't necessarily see like any hate in your heart.
I feel the people in here are victims because they're mostly second and third gen, and so their parents, they've been indoctrinated since they were kids. At first, when we first started, we had a handful of very aggressive protesters, and we realized that that's not the way to go. We had ex-members tell us that wasn't necessarily the way to go about it. I've never been like that. I'm not confrontational. There's 2 foundations that will help them escape.
Not confrontational.
Not really. No. I'm not like loud and aggressive. I don't get in their face when they go by me. I pretty much leave them alone. Now I'll either say a stat to them, tell them, I'll give them a foundation that they can contact when they go by, and that's it. And lately I've just been saying, hi, how are you? Have a nice day. Because it does no good to punish them when they don't know any better. They're told that everything out here is evil. And the Sea Org, the lower level, they're not even allowed on the internet. They don't watch TV. They're not even allowed to talk to each other. If they find out that have questions, if you question anything, you're punished. And so it's all about, it's a lot of coercion and pressure. And so I learned everything I learned about the church from survivors on YouTube. And I heard their horrible stories. See, they don't see their children as children because they believe they live multiple lives. And it's not they don't have a deity. They don't believe in a God. That's a whole nother story that we don't have time for. But there's rampant child abuse, child SA because they don't look at them as children. They don't get nurtured like children. They start them working early, young ages. And the Sea Org is their slave labor force. When they sign up for Sea Org, they do house them and feed them, but if they don't make money, which they're not when I'm here, money doesn't come down, only goes up. So if they don't sell books or courses, which they're not, especially if I'm here, they get fed beans and rice and they don't get their $50 a week. And we know in Chicago they've got 8 people to a studio apartment, so their living conditions are horrible. And they have, like I said, they sign a billion-year contract, and you get married, but if you get pregnant, they bus you to the clinic. If you decide to keep your child, which several people have that have channels, they punish you. They treat you like crap, and then they charge you for all the training you went through. It's called a freeloader debt. So now you owe them like 40 grand.
Sure.
And so there are people that, a lot of times, they'll get pregnant on purpose just so they can get out of the Sea Org because it's horrible. It's worse than prison, what they go through. It's worse than our prisoners. If they get in trouble, they go to the RPF. They don't call it that anymore. But it's literally... okay. I think she knows them. What was I saying? The RPF. Because I know people that have been sent to that I've listened to on channels. And it's not weeks or months, it's years. And they have to run everywhere they go. They get fed pitiful. They literally sometimes break rocks. The executives, a bunch of executives left like around 2005 because the leader was physically abusing them and put them in what they call the hole. It was a double-wide trailer. This is their base in California with a blanket on the floor and got fed from buckets. It's all about humiliation and control. And the original leader that wrote the original book that I'm about to be done reading online, we read it every Sunday, a chapter. I just lost my train of thought. That wrote I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Question for you though. What's your name, by the way?
Miss Kim.
Miss Kim.
That's my channel too.
Cool.
Yeah.
So these people don't believe in God.
Nope. They don't have a deity at all.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I'm a Christian. But that's not what brought me here. What brought me here, and I do say that, what brought me here was the child abuse. And then the elder abuse that I haven't even got into yet. If you get too old to work for them, that's a whole nother story. So, if you're interested, if you can take a picture, these are other channels of people that were put in as children and have escaped, and these are the people I learned from. Or remember this. Okay, yeah, take a picture. sptv.space is a list of all the channels. But they're a really good source. Serge Del Mar is just heartbreaking. And Laura FM and Mike Brown, they were all put in what they call Sea Cadets because their parents, that was back when they allowed them to have children. They don't anymore because the conditions those babies and children were kept in were horrendous. I won't even go into it. But so they were put into what they call the Sea Cadets at like 6, 7, 8 years old doing manual labor all day. No education. And They don't see the necessity. So
Yeah.
if they had a deity, I could almost understand it more, but they don't. They have this tech. You take courses and you learn how to better yourself. But he also, there's a level you get to when you're paying called OT3. There's 8 levels. Well, if you don't have the money to do it, they don't even know this story. In OT3, they find out they're from another galaxy and there's aliens involved.
Right.
And, well, not necessarily aliens. They're, I guess. And they were brought here 72 trillion years ago and dropped in a volcano. And then they're Thetans, what you would call, and I would call a soul or a spirit. They call it Thetan. And so their Thetan goes from body to body. So when they die, they go into a new baby body. And so Laura FM on that list, her last phone call with her dad, when she left, she was upset. And he goes, I don't understand why you're upset. You're not really my daughter, and I'm not really your dad. In your last life, you were an 80-year-old man, probably. And that's the way they look at their kids.
Right. Yeah.
That's the most horrible part. So I don't really care what other religions do for the most part until they start abusing children and their members.
Right.
There's nothing good about it. Even the members that have gotten out said if you took out all the abuse, there's still no redeeming quality in here. Oh, what I was getting at was when you're going up
I'll be here for about another minute, then I gotta go.
That's fine. I never know how long I'm gonna get somebody, so I just keep going until you leave.
Sure.
But when you go up the confidential levels, he gets you to believe that when you're done, you're going to be able to control matter, energy, space, and time with your mind. You can move things. So I'll ask him every once in a while, like, if OT 8 is this powerful, how come you can't get rid of a protester? You can't manifest getting rid of a protester.
For real.
Yeah.
Miss Kim, thank you.
Thank you for listening.
For sure.
That's what I'm here for, to educate.
I haven't always been a Christian. There was a time in my life where I thought I was, but I wasn't. I couldn't stop doing the very destructive things that I was harming myself and others. And I mean,
Everybody's
until I went to college as a freshman, a couple guys, baseball players, started sharing with me who the guy
that's
the Bible
awesome.
actually was. And I started learning about a God that doesn't just demand that I be better and just do good moral things and the good outweigh the bad, and maybe God will accept me. But I started learning about a God that understood that I couldn't just be better, so he still so loved me that he became
In our
a man,
imperfections.
lived a perfect life, died a death I deserved.
You don't have to be perfect.
That changed my heart.
Yeah, that's the thing is we talk about this in church a lot. When I used to teach adult Sunday school, everybody's on people, and I have a lot of people that aren't Christians in my chat, so I don't usually talk religion very often. But the one thing I say, and I said this even without the Christian aspect, everybody's on their own level in their journey of life, and if they're trying to be better, not everybody's perfect. And what we talked about in class was, people expect Christians to be perfect all the time. Part of that problem is the ones that want to berate you with their Christian values, which I don't like, I don't agree with. So the thing is, everybody's on a different level, a different journey with God, and so somebody might be beginning, somebody might be doing better but not great. Nobody's going to be perfect, and you're going to falter sometimes and lose a step and maybe come back. So yeah, that's the way it works.
I'm just glad God wasn't waiting for me to clean myself up. He wasn't waiting for me to choose the right religion, but he came to me.
Right.
There were guys that inconvenienced me, that might have had awkward conversations with me, but I wouldn't be where I am today with the kind of freedom and healing, and on the offensive with my sin and the kind of confession I had with other men in small groups and at church.
Having discussions is really nice with other members.
Push me. And so
yeah,
for that.
Somebody said to me once, I can't go to church, I'll probably catch on fire. I'm like, you don't wait till you're perfect to go to church. You go to church to learn to be better.
Sure.
Or even if you don't go to church, I said, just doing whatever part you want to do.
Before I leave, I want to pray, Miss Kim.
Sure.
But what is something specifically, maybe for you and even for this that we can, when it comes
I
to this,
want
that
our
we can-
government to take notice and investigate this church. That's my first. Oh, so loud. That's my first and foremost goal. The ultimate goal is that we end the church, but it's going to be in steps. It's going to take time.
and they've got money. It's not like this church that,
Right.
you know, is gonna.
They've got high-powered, expensive attorneys. Yeah, we know. But yeah, we just want our government to take notice. We've got people going to city council meetings, police commissioner meetings, trying to get all the time, and especially because they have big bases in LA and Clearwater, Florida. This is just a building, an org, and they have bases that are
however many
multiple
millions
buildings.
It costed to,
They have $1 billion in offshore bank accounts because they have people like Tom Cruise that donate $50-60 million at a time.
Sure.
So
Well, let's pray.
okay.
Let me pray. Is that okay?
If you guys don't want to, just mute.
God, I thank you for this moment, for crossing my path with Miss Kim. I thank you that even the seemingly random things of life aren't so random. Just happen to be leaving campus, happen to not work out today, happen to go this route that I rarely go, and had an interest that just happened to be there, and a conversation that just happened to take place with Miss Kim. God, I thank you for her. I thank you for her grit, for her determination, for her forthrightness, Father God, but also her tenderness. Thank you that you've dealt with her in a lot of ways, and Lord, there's not and we may wrestle with it when we hear about the stories, but I'm not sensing an unforgiveness or a hatred in her heart, God, but a broken heart is what I sense, a heart that's broken for those that can't defend themselves. So God, we plead with you. We stand on your word in Isaiah 61, that you come and set the captives free, and you heal the shattered hearted. So in Jesus' name, God, I call down, I pray your judgment upon this organization, this false religion. God, I pray that would be manifest in a very swift and meaningful way. God, I pray that you would set the captives free. I pray that you would illuminate hearts and minds, that those that don't know how to escape. God, I pray for divine strategy right now and a peace about them. Would you help them to get out? I pray for a conviction, God, in the leaders. God, certain members, even right now, 2, 3, 4, right now, God, high-ranking members getting a conviction from God himself. Would you break their hearts? I pray for a repentance moment, God, that they would be reconciled to you and they would make things right, that they would actively work from the inside to reverse what they have done. God, I pray that it would crumble from the inside out, Lord. I pray for comfort for those kids, God. I pray that you would comfort them and protect them, and would you strengthen everyone on this chat, Lord. Remind them of your love for them, your nearness to them. I pray for Miss Kim. See even a ring on her left hand, even, or maybe not. God, I pray for her family. You comfort her, give her abundance, more than she needs, Lord, so that she can just give away freely her time, her resources, her love. In Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was well worded.
I'm sorry, I shook a homeless person's hand. I hadn't had a chance
I got
to
some sanitizer.
it, so
I'll hit it.
cool.
All right.
Peace out, y'all. Miss Kim, I'll say hi
Thank
next time I
you.
see you.
Hey, I saw. That guy's really nice. Oh, from Iran. Wow. Are you new to the Scientology stuff? We're in Austin, Texas right now. Hey, Dale. Oh, I gotta go back. When I get to talking, I do not know. I read that. Hey, to me, what's up? Yeah, thank you. I need that term. Hey, Asal. Am I saying your name right? So even though this gentleman stopped and prayed for me. Like I've said before, I don't do a lot of religion on this channel, and I'm not here because of that so much. I think regardless, I think I would have came anyway. What brought me here to protest against Scientology was the rampant child abuse. And then I found out about the member abuse and the elderly abuse and all the abuse that goes on in this cult. And the problem is they have a lot of money and they got tax exempt status way back, 30, 40 years ago, and nobody's investigating them. We have all these survivors that are on YouTube telling their stories. We have lawsuits going on against the abuse and human trafficking, and our government is not taking notice. My other reason for being here is they opened this building, let me show you, across from the university on purpose to lure these young people. So that's the church, and everything you see on the right, all the way to behind me, is the university campus. That's why we have a lot of foot traffic here. So part of the reason I'm here is to keep them from getting lured in and educate, like that gentleman that stopped. I think he knew, a lot of them, about 80% that go by know something. They know that Scientology bad. They may not know why. But there's that 20% that are far from home, that may feel lonely, that don't have a lot of friends, might be their first time away from home if they're a freshman. I've caught them with a couple freshmen talking them inside. So I'm here to educate just the people. And I also educate the people inside in that so they can know that there's two foundations that will help them escape. I'm not the only one that's doing this. There's about 100 channels, or there were, I'm not sure what the number is anymore, that are all over the world doing this. In groups, in LA, we have a small group here, but we don't always, we're never really together that much, which is fine with me. That means we're covering it more hours of the week. Other countries, Paris, Australia, there's quite a few in Australia, Canada, the UK, Germany, I think. I'll forget them all. A lot of major cities in the United States where they've opened up. And when we're out here, they close their doors and blinds. How many churches do you know that do that just because somebody's standing outside with a camera? The only thing there is to see on the first floor is a bookstore and a cafe and their front desk. There's nothing else. I got disconnected there for a second. If you have any questions, ask. Denmark, Sweden. Yep, that's true. Yep. Yeah. I try to put something in the description when I'm vertical so they at least know the basics of why I'm here. You know what? Oh, it went off. I was listening to YouTube on my way here and I never actually turned it off, but it went off on its own. I gotta figure out why it's going off. I think it's the screensaver or something. But how long have I been out here? I've been out here 2 hours. It has flown, y'all. I've had some, oh, that means it's getting close to 5. Oh, 5. I gotta move over to the corner. So, if shaking bothers you, look away, because I have to move the tripod in my wagon. Oh, there they are. Scientology does not allow its Sea Org slave labor force to have children. If they get pregnant, they take them to the clinic and make them get rid of it. And that's when they're married. Thank you. Scientology schools protects child predators. Not only do they protect them, they give them glowing reviews to another school where he attacked 6 more kids. Now he's in prison because that was not a Scientology school. Now one of the victims is suing the Scientology school. They had child predator in their Scientology daycare that hurt children. They moved him to another location and never told the parents their children were molested. You can look up Delphi Academy lawsuit on Google to find out. They have a slave labor force called the Sea Org that works 110 hours a week, are fed beans and rice when they don't make any money, which they're not when I'm here. They're supposed to get $50 a week. They don't get that. And they sign a billion-year contract. They're never allowed to leave. That's why it's a cult, not a religion. They will, if you escape, they will drag you back. It's a high crime to take any Scientologist to court or go to the authorities. So Danny Masterson, the actor in LA, who was drugging and R-ing women for a 20-year period, it was covered up the whole time until they went to the authorities, and 3 of them got him put in prison last year for 30 years to life. Oh, I never see cars coming out of there. That was weird. Scientology protects child predators. You're not allowed to go to the authorities for any reason in Scientology, so they just cover it up and move them around. We know this from survivors that have gotten out, and including someone's dad confessing all to the LAPD only to protect the church from a lawsuit. Everyone knew it was in his file every time he went to somewhere new. They had a computer specialist in Scientology because they have confession like auditing in Scientology. They knew that he was hurting children and still allowed him to stay with Scientology families whenever he traveled and never told them he was a child predator, and he continued to attack children. When you get too old to work for them, you get no medical care, you're stuck in a home with other old Scientologists, and they take credit cards out in your name because when you die, they'll be gone. One guy got his mother out and she was $160,000 in debt. You get no medical care when you're Sea Org or staff. They scare you away from doctors. That's why so many celebrity Scientologists are dying of stage 4 cancer, because they don't go to the doctor until the last minute. If you are in their slave labor force, Sea Org, and you get married and you get pregnant, you are not allowed to have children. They will take you to the clinic in groups. It got so bad in LA that they had to start going farther to other clinics because it was looking bad, because they were taking so many people there. Delphi Academy lawsuit. You can Google it. They protected a child predator in their Scientology school for a year. Let him finish his contract, knowing he was assaulting children, gave him a glowing review to a new school where he attacked 6 more children. Now he's in prison because the second school was not Scientology. Now that victim in the Scientology school is suing because he's now an adult. They protect child predators in Scientology schools, daycares, and churches. They had a child molester in their daycare. They moved him to another location and never told the parents their children were molested. I know I'm repeating myself, y'all, but I get different groups like every 2 minutes. So this is more for them than you. I'm losing my voice. Ugh. Where am I from? We are in Austin, Texas. I'm actually from 75 miles north of here. I don't live in Austin. If I'd lived in Austin, I would be here every day. I totally would be here every day. I'd be like, oh, well, I'll take an hour and go over there. I love it when Hitzel, our other protester, she'll come down here and they'll spend an afternoon and they'll show up and close them down because they close their doors and blinds when we're here. Leave for a while, come back, close them down again. She does it 2 or 3 times. I think it's awesome. I'm about to get another group. Scientology protects child predators and men who are women. We know this because there was a high-profile case in LA where an actor, Danny Masterson, has been convicted to 30 years to life, and the paperwork from the church showed that he said, yes, I did it, but I didn't think it was wrong to drug and assault women. They covered up for him for 20 years. It's a high crime in Scientology to take anyone to the authorities or to sue them. You will get in trouble. If you are a victim in Scientology, it is your fault. They will ask you, what did you do in your last life, which they believe in, to pull this in? If you have a car accident and somebody hits you, it's your fault. If you get attacked, it is your fault. If your father abuses you, it's your fault.
I want to see like people.
Not kidding.
For me, I'm more sheltered.
Not exaggerating. Matter of fact, it gets worse than that. I'm gonna have to start bringing more. I only had 2 bottles of water in the fridge, and I bought one. I've already been through 2. Are we here? Is my... I gotta check on... It looks like my chat is stuck. Hold on, I'm checking to see if you guys are in the chat. Okay, I'm still live. Yep. Can only see the inner section. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm on. Do you want to see something else? I'll change it. Let's see, let's do this. This is... Scientology covers up for child predators in their school, daycare, and churches. They had a child molester in their school that they protected and gave him a glowing review to a new school where he attacked more children. Now he's in prison because that was not a Scientology school. There is a current lawsuit, Delphi Academy lawsuit, Google it, of the victim, one of the victims, that they protected the child predator who continued to be abused. They had a Scientology daycare where all the children were molested and they never told the parents. Oh, no, not here. I thought somebody was going to stop, but they were looking, but sometimes they're just looking at my sign. No, I'm just yelling to the crowd. I get a break while the light is a certain color. It's red. No. And then I get the cars that have to stop right here, and it's nice out, so everybody's windows are open, which I love. Whew, I gotta take a breath. Might have to hit that inhaler today. It's pretty. It rained all night. Just torrential rain all night. And then that's it. And then it got hot. I'll take my break until they cross. Yeah, it's starting to thin out a little bit. So yeah, I went vertical on purpose because I'm not getting out here that much, and I've gotten some new eyeballs. Even when I only get a few, because I dropped to below 1,400 subscribers. Now, I've said before that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me personally, like for my channel. It doesn't bother me. But I get bothered because I worry, did they just leave my channel or did they leave SBT or the Scientology movement? Scientology covers up for child predators in their churches and schools. They covered up for a basketball coach they knew was assaulting children, gave him a glowing review at the end of his contract, went on to a new school and attacked 6 more kids. Now he's in prison because that school was not ran by Scientology. Delphi Academy lawsuit. Google it. Yeah, it's starting to thin out. I'll give it a few more minutes. It's so weird not having to watch the clock. I got my truck back. It's not going to be cold enough for him to need it. So now I'm getting it detailed because he's ruined the interior. And I got all these pink accessories in my Amazon cart. I'm even getting black and pink sparkly mats because the ones we have are tore up. Can't get them all at once though. I'll have to get one thing here and there. But when I get done with it, I'll show y'all. I should do a before picture. I appreciate y'all being here. Helps when I have people to talk to. I was just checking the chat. That was weird. I need to check on. I'll send you a reminder to change your title when you finish. Okay, that's a good idea. I got a new notebook. I decided having the notebook with the different sections was just causing me confusion. So now I have a notebook where I'll just write in order. And I have on the, let me show you the first page that I wrote. So let's see. Ooh, God, I can't believe I just did that. Ooh. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Ugh. So that guy told me I needed to sanitize and I hadn't yet, and I just licked my finger to move a page. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. So this is my first page. Check emails. So every day, check emails, check day planner, so I'm about to get a new one. Check text messages, check to-do notes. And then once a week, there's stuff I need to remember. Oh, I have checked channel comments. I don't check every day on those. Always. I try to, but not always. So it's really nice notebook. It's hardcover. Just can't hurt it. So I'm going to move over all the others. So I'm going to write it on there too. So my first note. Change title. Stream. Today's the 30th, right? 2025. You can set up to receive notifications when you get... Yeah, I think I do, but my issue is on my regular phone. I get so many notifications. I miss text messages. And it's all, you know how they're like, oh, save 10% if you sign up for text messaging. I get way too many text messages. It's ridiculous. Oh, alrighty. Actually, I'm gonna have some coffee. Emails. Okay. Yeah, I need to do that. So I'm trying to keep everything on my streamer phone. So that, and then if I just have stuff about Scientology, like my channel on that phone, and I check that phone every day, it would be easier. That's my plan. That's why I have the extra line for just streaming. I don't have anything else on that phone except stuff I need for YouTube. So, and like I said, if anybody needs my number, you can email me for it. I don't mind giving it out because I know if anybody wants to spam call me, I'm not really going to answer it unless I know who it is first. I'm like that on my regular phone too. If I don't recognize it, it goes to voicemail until I know who it is. Yeah. I don't think I have my email set up for notifications because it's a knee-jerk reaction. Do you want to allow notifications? And I usually hit no at this point because I get too many. Ooh, that's too much coffee. Ooh, I don't need that right now. Is there anybody new in the chat that just stumbled on my channel? Feel free to ask me any questions while I'm here. I'm here to protest Scientology. I don't know why she's screaming, but she has a pretty dog. She's a cute little dog. I don't know. I think having a camera makes me look less crazy. I shouldn't say that word. That's not nice. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. But at least I look like I'm doing something. That's what I should say. But nobody really pays attention anymore because almost everybody has... I may have to start wearing earplugs. Between sirens and people with their ridiculous mufflers, and it bounces off these stone walls. Wow. Well, I think I'm about done. It's really trickling now. I'll give it a few more minutes maybe. But I'll stay on, see if anybody else comes by on shorts. If anybody wants to ask, I know when I'm doing shorts, I just see somebody standing there. I'm like, maybe not. I need to, you know what? When I do vertical, I need to make a little sign. Put it around my neck. Scientology is a cult. And that way, when they're scrolling, they can immediately find out why I'm here. I just thought of that. I think I'm going to do that. Oh, there's more sirens. That, he was right beside me. I can't hear now. Wonder what's going on. Off the social Scientology. Oh, didn't stop. I thought he was stopping at the alley. He looks like he might be lost.
Yeah, her mom got like...
Oh, hey, good vibes. What's up? Oh my god. Did it help when I had my finger on the mic? Because, oh my gosh, that was so loud. Hey, the Google car just went by. Oh, that might not be a Google car. That might be one of those repo people. Bunch of cameras on the car. Oh, that was so loud. So, yep, I'm going to do that. So when I go vertical, people can see right away what I'm doing. Or maybe I could get a hat made. But I think the sign would be more, like about that big. Of course, they'd only see it. I didn't notice I can always lower my volume. That's good. As long as it's not as loud for you as it is for me. Gosh, dang that. I cannot hear out of this ear. If he turned right, had that thing on right here. Ow. Luckily, I have hearing loss in this ear, so could have been worse, I guess. Wow. Oh, he went down the other street. So is there anybody new in the chat or scrolling by that wants to know what I'm here for? I am protesting a child abusing, human trafficking, elder abusing, member abusing cult. Oh, I saw the bracelets you made before I left. I showed them to Tom. I was explaining to him what NMKIS is. Thanks, good vibes. Thank you. Yeah, that's why I'm vertical. I know it annoys some people, but I get new eyeballs. That way, I usually get at least one person that comes in and asks some questions, and they're new to everything. So I feel like it's worth it to do it. I used to only do it once a week. I think I've done it the last 2 or 3 times. Oh, you know, I thought about doing that. I've got bracelets and earrings that I've made, and I thought about auctioning something off when I heard about that. I think I was on your stream when you were talking about it today. I listened to it today. So I was like, you know, I've probably got a few things. We'll see. If Dusty's running it, or whoever's running it, with Antics or Dusty, okay. I can send them an email picture of it. I'll go in my craft. I got the bombs for my craft room, and Tom said he's going to help me. I've decided I want to have it fixed for my 1-year anniversary. I'm going to do it in my new studio, I'll call it. It's actually my craft room, but I think I want to have it straightened out it's February 23rd. I had to go back through my live streams to see when I went live. What day is that on? February 23rd is a Sunday. It'll give us a reason not to read Dianetics that day. Hey Bob, what's up? My husband was next to me one day. We were watching Natalie or somebody, and I was just telling him some of the names, and I go, and then there's Bob. Today, actually, because I think I was listening to Natalie's show while I was getting ready, and she mentioned you. I think she was just saying hi. I said, yep, there's Bob. We should be on Blue Sky by then. What do you mean? What's up with Blue Sky? I haven't checked that out yet. Because I don't do X. I have Instagram. I have them both, but I just don't use them. I even downloaded TikTok and started a channel, but I don't have anything on it. So I just don't really go on the reading. Oh! I was thinking about that social media thing called Blue Sky. Yes, we should. You're right, we should be by then, for sure. So, I don't know. I'm going to do a different thing that day, so February 23rd won't be Dianetics. Now, I could technically do my 1 year on Saturday night, because we go after midnight usually. So, I haven't really thought about it that far yet. It's a month away. Man, I can't believe I've been doing this for a year, y'all. Never knew I would be out here a year from when I started. It's trippy. I'm glad. It's been very rewarding. I need to start writing my thoughts down now for my 1 year. Maybe I could invite some people to come on, maybe. We could just have people on and hang out. I'll think about it some more. Because I was asking my husband, well, first, I was like, should I go to a different location and do something fun? Every time I try to do that, I find out I can't get reception there. Not just me. And then I was talking to him about, because it's hard for us to get together to leave the house for the 3 hours they want us gone. And up until today, it's been too cold or wet to put the dogs out. Now, I think, but I'm motivated. I want to do it now. So I think I'm just going to do the bomb in the craft room and tape the door. It's that dry fogger. And so I can get in there and start cleaning it out and getting it set up. Hi. You have any questions?
Yeah, why
Because of religion, you can leave. And in Scientology, if you're in the Sea Org, which is their slave labor, they don't let you leave. You have to sign a billion-year contract, and you have to work for them until you die. If you try to leave, they will drag you back. We've had people escape in trunks of cars, be run off the road, found at bus stations and taken back. That's why.
Man, let's put that shit into theory. Ain't no one ever hold me back and told me I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll test that shit out for real.
Yeah. Well, the problem is a lot of these people in here.
I got something to do.
All right. He's very vocal. Thing is, like I said before, these people in here are victims too. Had they not been, most of them, indoctrinated since they were kids. That's why I never say the words that, you're weak or dumb or anything like that when you're inside, because that's not the problem. After reading Dianetics and hearing survivor stories, you see how insidious and slow it is. And anybody can be taken in by something like that. And like I said before, if you guys haven't been with us reading the Dianetics, honestly, if before the internet and before mental health got as open as it is now, because it's called another science of mental health or something, I can never remember. There's a lot of things in Dianetics that sound good, and people in need, people that aren't getting the help that they need, because way back in the day, only way you could get good therapy is if you had a lot of money. If you didn't, you went to the asylum. Hey, good vibes. They are not dumb. All we were in there 22 years. Exactly. Yeah. And I've had AA in my chat during Dianetics, helping us, never ends, really, truly understand it. And I've read things, and I've said while reading, if I'd have read this, it sounds good. And until he gets overboard. Honestly, I've said this. If he would have stuck with Dianetics, right, and kept the Dianetics centers, and hadn't gone this ridiculous overboard about everything's your parents' fault and everything happened when you were in the womb, he could have really helped people. He followed a lot of philosophies, but he also followed trauma therapy. But because he had an ulterior motive and made it evil underneath, so I mean, in 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, before you could research stuff on your own, I mean, I can see why people read that or heard about that and were like, yeah, help me. Let's do this. And they had the Dianetic centers. and because there's some things that have confused me. But if you could go to a Dianetics center and go to a course with a teacher and ask questions, maybe it would make more, would have made more sense. So I totally get it. And even if you didn't go through Dianetics, I mean, I'm sure I've never read any of the actual Scientology books, but I can see, because I've seen how nice they are when they meet new people. And that's the thing. I don't believe they're not nice. I think people in Scientology are nice people. They believe they're helping. And when you have people here in Austin that are far from home and don't have any friends and want to be a part of something, I can totally see how people would want to go in here. And it says church, which is very unassuming. Yeah. Yeah, reading Dianetics. No, Yolanda, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, had I been there before we had internet and before mental health was as good as it is now, better, because it's more open now. Everyone talks about their mental health. But back in the 50s, 60s, 70s especially, it was very hush-hush. And I could imagine living then. I can put myself in other people's shoes. I could imagine living then and having the choice of the asylum or this new therapy that's being talked about, or this book that they want me to read, or Scientology. And when you first go in, they really make you think they're going to help you. And there's been parts of Dianetics that I read that, because it follows it does exactly what regular therapy does, it would probably help in small ways. The problem was it goes overboard and gets, really out there, and he didn't have any good thoughts when he wrote it. So his whole thing was, I just want to make money and control people. No problem, Bob. Wouldn't have made him less mentally. No. Oh no, we've talked about John Atack. Last Sunday, instead of reading Dianetics, we went over John Atack's interview. We talked about it. What I did is I pulled things out that we had talked about while reading Dianetics. So we're almost done with the book. And so we didn't watch the whole interview. I just pulled some things out. And the next book we're reading is Piece of Blue Sky. We'd already decided that months ago. But we are in the 21st century, so Dianetic is crap. Yeah, now we can research it. But could you imagine I was born in 69. And the only place you could go research anything was the library. And it was all out of date anyway. So how were you able to, unless you saw a magazine article or you were a journalist or you were a professor and had access, there was no way to really find out if Dianetics or Scientology was a bad thing. So I can see how people in need. Oh, there's AA. We were talking about you. Was your ears burning? We just got to talking about how, in reading Dianetics, I can totally understand. And you've been there when I said it. I'm like, parts of it sound really good. And AA has said, people have come out of auditing actually being helped in some ways, because, they're really getting rid of, if it's being done, he changed all the names, but it's trauma therapy. And they probably have gotten rid of some trauma. It's just that it went to the 16th degree of overboard and weirdness. But I can see how you'd already be in or Scientology, and then you don't find out, some of this stuff till later on, and then you're like, well, maybe, I can understand that, you're already being taught a certain way, and you probably by this point don't think it's that weird. I needed some water. Hey, But yeah, we're gonna read A Piece of Blue Sky. We're almost. I think we might be able to finish Dianetics this Sunday, because it's the end, and really, he's talking to auditors. It's not really. We need all the information now. The first part of the book, it was hard to edit things out because I tried to do that at first, and then he would talk about it again later. So I never knew what was going to be important later, so we read word for word. But now it's not so much. We've heard, I think, the bulk of the information. Now he's pretty much just talking about auditing sessions. But, oh, that's good. I stayed up. All Saturday night, Sunday, no, not Saturday night. What is today? Thursday. Tuesday night, all day Wednesday, I think, in order to go to sleep last night, and I was still up all night. It's ridiculous. And I wanted to get up at 11, and Tom spent an hour waking me up. I couldn't wake up. He's too nice. Yes, some Scientology sessions were really good. And that's what I mentioned your name. I said, having ex-members in the chat and telling us what it was like helped a great deal. Had we as Never-Ends just read it with our Never-End brain, we think certain things. And I've learned a lot. I really have. Bye, Yolanda. A lot more than I did just even watching like a documentary or people tell their story. That's just the way I do things. I'm very much into putting myself in other people's shoes and trying to see it from a different perspective. We got to get on that interview again. On the way here, I was thinking about that, and I'm going to be scheduling the fibromyalgia / chronic pain stream I want to do. I'm going to try to contact everybody and narrow down a time. So we might do that in between. I'm going to do it on a Sunday, in between ending Dianetics and starting Piece of Blue Sky for the multi-stream, because I want to have a bunch of us on there. And what I've decided to do also is I'm going to tell my whole journey from chronic pain to fibromyalgia on my own, because I don't want to it's a long story. It started in 2008. So I'm going to do that on my channel, just a short video, so that I don't have to go into it all on the stream. You guys can. I just didn't want to. My story is so long, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, it's no problem, eh? I mean, if you're going to be an activist against something, I think you should know as much as you can about it. But I've always been like that. I'm a researcher. Anything that I get interested in, I get really involved into researching it and stuff. Mine started 30 years ago. Wow. Wow. It's just but yeah. That way I can tell a briefer version of it because I plan on, if everybody that I'm going to contact wants to be on the panel, we could easily have 6 people on the panel, I think. It's just doctors not knowing what they're doing, messing me up, pretty much. Actually, I guess I could technically go back to my car accident in 88. But that was the precursor to... But that's not really... doesn't have anything to do with my... Well, no, it does. because cervical injury is one of the precursors to having it. My dad raised me teaching me about civil and human rights. It's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I learned a lot about that in school. When I lived in Atlanta, I went to Martin Luther King's memorial. So, I mean, I learned about the Holocaust. I learned about civil rights. I just don't think they teach it like they used to. Hey, Pumpkin. I wonder if fibromyalgia connected to our American chemical diet and our food and surroundings. Oh, don't get me started. Oh, I totally think it is. Because I have eliminated all toxins from my house. I don't use plastic in the microwave. I bought as much silicone as I can afford as far as single or multi-use. I still use baggies when I have too much. I can only buy like one every couple months. They're expensive. I only use glass and stoneware for food storage. I went to mason jars. So instead of buying a canister set, or I put leftovers in jars sometimes, and they're cheap. When I started, I could get the 6-pack of the big jars for $11 or $12. And it's so much cheaper than buying glassware. I did buy one big glass, so I don't microwave anything in plastic. I only use glass or stoneware. I only use natural chemicals like vinegar and orange cleaner. And then I changed my diet, and that's what helped my symptoms. So I went off of processed foods. So yeah, I totally believe that's what it is. I think it's just screwed up. And I'm very sensitive to chemicals. If there's side effects to meds, I'm gonna have it. I really do. I think it is. Yeah, doctors didn't help. I did have a good doctor. Not about 6 months after I finally got diagnosed, that had wrote a paper on fibromyalgia. He was a pain management doctor. I was like, thank the Lord. But and we worked for several years trying to find the right meds and the right treatment and all this. He was a listener. He was a good listener. Very attentive, wanted to work with me. Only problem was he threw 5 new drugs at me all at once. And holy moly. I'll go into that more. I'm going to do, like I said, I could probably do 10 minutes or less maybe on just all the facts that led up to, because I got traumatic fibromyalgia where I literally got it overnight or during a week. To a shock to my system. Yeah. Yep. I read every ingredient. And if I can buy something in a glass container, I do. You can get it a little bit expensive. Like my honey, I only get the one that's in glass. If I can, but the problem is you can't always do that. And I try to stay away from plastics, but I hate Texas water, so there's things I can and can't do, I've done as much as I can. But yeah, I've removed as much chemicals and toxins out of my house as I can. Yeah, I know. I know. It's weird not being in a hurry. I'm always watching the clock. Oh, I gotta get home. I'm gonna have to get gas for Tom. It's kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna go. You guys got me chatting. You're right. I'm getting close to 3 hours. So, as you guys all already know, so Saturday night at 10, the late night stream. Sunday, I'm hoping we're finishing Dianetics on Sunday. Cross your fingers. It's in our clothes and our eyeglasses. The packaging, our cars are mostly plastic. I know. There's nothing I can do about eliminating the microplastics. But come to the stream, Pumpkin. I'm tentatively trying to schedule it for Sunday after next, but I've got to coordinate everybody. So I may make it farther out. But there's so many of us in the community that have fibromyalgia that I decided I wanted to do, because I've talked about it like this, in little bits. And I want to get us all together and talk about, what our symptoms are. And I'm also going to have in the title, or chronic pain. Any chronic pain or autoimmune disease is welcome. Because I've talked with Cheryl about meds and things that didn't work, and I just thought it would be an interesting thing, and especially if there's people out there that haven't had it as long as us, that information could be helpful. Thanks, Scooter Mom. Oh yeah, and hormones. Yeah, I'm with you. Totally there. Okay, I gotta go. I've been here almost 3 hours, y'all. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you hopefully protesting in the next few days. Just keep an eye out. I try not to announce it anymore so they don't know. Y'all have a good weekend if I don't see ya.